Hey, friends, and welcome back to the BFABO podcast. It has been a while since I sat behind the mic here to record a BFABO podcast episode. And right from the start, I want to tell you thank you. Thank you for giving me the space that I needed to pause recording and for staying with me till the time was right to return. And that's today. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Bobbi. And if you've been around for a while, welcome back to both of us. I'm excited to bring you this new series. I'm kind of calling it the Permission series. I think as we get going, you'll kind of see how I fell into giving it that name, because I think when we name something, we give it energy, we give it some power. And I indeed want to come back strong. I want to come back my same empowering way, my same cheerleading way for you, my same way that I want you to find growth and success and what matters on your terms, right? So that's kind of where I'm coming back to. That's kind of the season I'm in as we dive into these permission based series coming up here. Together we're going to, go on a little journey. So I appreciate you being with me. Thank you again for the honor of being in your earbuds. So I want to start by saying this. Sometimes coming back isn't about restarting. It's about returning with clarity. And that's how this episode feels for me. I've been in a slower season, not a busy season, not a loud season, but a much slower, quieter, and more intentional one. And what I've learned and what I want to share with you today is this: that slow seasons don't stop growth. They teach us a different kind of growth. So if you're in a season right now that feels quieter than you expected, if things don't look the way you thought they would by now, or if you're doing the work but that momentum feels different, then this conversation's for you. We live in a culture, we live in a world, we live in a industry, we live in the day-to-day that equates growth with speed. More output, more visibility, more results, more noise. And if things slow down, sometimes we're quick to assume that something's wrong. But here's the truth, friends, that people don't talk about. Not all growth is meant to be seen right away. Some growth happens internally. Some growth is more structural. Some growth is about alignment, not acceleration. And slow seasons, well, my friends, they often show us what the fastest seasons can hide. Let me re-say that for you so that kind of sinks in. Slow seasons, they often show us what fast seasons, going fast, getting somewhere quicker, all that rush and that hustle, slow seasons often show us what the fast seasons hide. I want to be honest with you. This episode is not just a theatrical one or something that I just wanted to come back big bang strong with, but this episode for me is personal. I've lived it and I'm still living it. Last year, especially the last 4 months, asked more of me than I expected or could have ever imagined. And I thought 2024 asked a lot. And maybe 2025 is asking more of you too. And maybe 2026 is still asking more of you. Maybe you're coming off 24 and 25, or maybe even longer, and you're still in a process of shaking off some of that and getting ready and prepared for what 2026 can bring to you. So I needed to step back from my business and other obligations to steady myself. Now I find myself coming back and rebuilding quietly and slowly and intentionally. I stepped away from life. I stepped away from the business and social media and all my obligations because life demanded my full attention. Not because I lost my mission or because I gave up, but because building what matters most sometimes meant choosing, and sometimes means that we have to make those hard choices of choosing presence over performance. And I'll say this clearly: I'm proud of the choice that I made, a scary one, and to be honest, still is. But I'm proud of myself for honoring and taking care of what I need to do so that I could be where I was called to be. Now, I share more of this over on the BFABO Substack. I'll put the links in the show notes if you want to read a little bit more about how I kicked off 2026. It's not a resolution piece, but it is a piece that I wanted to come back to. I don't believe stepping back from anything where I offered or I owed anybody, not offered, but where I owed anybody an explanation of why I stepped back. Those in my circle knew what was going on. They reached out constantly. They still do. Just got a text this morning from somebody with a simple check in. But I needed to tell everybody that I needed to step back and that I wasn't in a position to talk to anybody about anything, that I needed to just be fully present with my family that I was needed to be with and taking care of my wife and just caregiving on a whole different level. And that included a move back to my home state of Missouri. So again, if you want to read more about that or see how I can relate to what I'm talking about today, I'll put the link in that in there for Substack. And maybe this is where you are right now. Maybe this is the season in life and business that has slowed down for you. Not because you're not capable or motivated or committed, but because something deeper is recalibrating your values, your energy, your definition of success. And right now, that might feel uncomfortable because when things slow down, we often find ourselves questioning, am I doing enough? Am I still relevant? Did I miss my window? And should I be further along? But when you look back on those slow seasons, they weren't really pauses. And if you're looking back as what you're doing right now to move forward, I want you to know that this is just preparation for what you went through, where you are now, and what you're going to. And I feel that with you. I'm one of those people that I don't think I needed to shout what I was doing. I've never felt that I needed to say, hey, I'm going to do these steps. And like even stepping away, I had somebody ask me, did I think I would lose my relevance in the speaking world or in the coaching world? Or did I think people would miss me? And I never really thought about it that way, but I did know that I didn't owe anybody the explanation. I knew I needed to be true to myself and honor my values and my core beliefs. And I knew what I needed to do for me so that I could support others and be there as they needed me. Now, the shift is a different kind of growth. We're in a slow season when we're sometimes in that season that everything seems to be happening really fast and we're seeing momentum. But here's what slow seasons can teach us if we will stop and listen. They teach us how to grow with intention instead of urgency. They help us separate what fuels us from what drains us. They invite us to build systems and habits and mindsets that can actually last. Because fast growth without alignment will lead to burnout, and fast success without clarity leads to dissatisfaction. But slow intentional growth, that's where we build resilience. That's where we build confidence. And that's building something that you don't have to recover from later. This is where growth becomes embodied and not performance. I think one of the biggest lessons that slow seasons can teach us is that sometimes the version of success that we're chasing or we have been chasing belongs to an older version of ourselves. And if you're where you are right now, man, be grateful. I am somebody that will tell you I am rooted. I am grateful for where my feet are right now. All the lessons and the trials and tribulations, the blood, sweat, and tears that I went through, I am grateful for those lessons for where I am now. And that is something that while I never really chased a big dream or I chased something, but I know where I was working on going is no longer where I want to be going. That belonged to the older version of myself. The version of myself now needs to be of service in a different way. And if you think about it, maybe you're there in some form or fashion too. So the slow seasons give us a space to ask for better questions. What actually matters to me now? What kind of life or business am I building? And not just what kind of business, but the legacy you want to leave with that business, the impact you want to have with that business. What do you want your business to offer others? How can that serve others in a way that not only makes them profitable, but gives a purpose? Does your business have a purpose? And what is it? And what does success look like when it's sustainable? For me, this is where everything always comes back to, and it comes back to the same truth. Doing what you love should bring you profit, purpose, and joy. Now, they're not just the goals that we chase, but as a result of building what matters most. And if you've heard me on stages or if you heard me in one of your groups and you've invited me to speak or you've done one-on-one coaching with me, you hear that I talk about if we're doing what we love, our true passion, and living and serving with our gifts, that should bring us profit, purpose, and joy. It shouldn't just be possible. It should be happening. But what if we stop chasing something? What if we stop chasing those three things? And the results of those profit, purpose, and joy were because we set out or we reconnected with building what matters most. And you have to define that. Slow seasons strip away the noise and help us see the clarity. So right now, if you're in a slow season, here's what I want you to hear. You are not failing, and you're not behind, and you're not wasting time. So let that noise that's in your head, let that negative Nancy, that imposter syndrome, that self-doubt, kick it to the curb. The world is noisy enough. Don't add to that message in your head. People may say to you, well, if you're not doing anything, you're failing. And I think for a long time I came from the fact of, if you're standing still, you're not moving forward or backwards. But sometimes standing in that stillness will get you to move forward, and sometimes stepping back will get you to move farther. Is that how they say that? Right? So I want you to ask yourself these questions instead. What is this season teaching me right now? The season I'm in, what lessons am I learning? What am I being invited to strengthen? What am I being called to make a change with? What am I being called? What's that louder voice? What's that louder passion? What is something that you push so far down on the things that you would like to do to bring you joy that might be trying to surface through, that you also could provide service for? What am I being asked to let go of? Because growth doesn't always look like momentum. Sometimes it really does look like clarity and alignment and energy returning, confidence rebuilding quietly. And that kind of growth, my friends, that's powerful. I didn't want to come back to recording this podcast or to my coaching or to showing up online or to going back to speaking engagements. I did not want to come back in a rush. I wanted to come back to speak more honestly about growth and leadership and building a life and a business that actually feels good to live inside of. So if this episode today, this comeback episode, this first in the permission series, speaks to you in some way or spoke to you in a way that had you pause, sit with it. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to take any action. You don't really need to do anything different today. Just let it sit with you. And notice where your season is asking you to grow. Not faster, but deeper. And as always, friends, I thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the earbuds with me. Thank you for listening. And thank you for allowing growth to look different sometimes and giving me the space to work on myself and to work on where I need to be and to work on the change that I knew I need to make. A gentle reminder here. Join me over in the BFABO community over on Substack. I'm building everything over there. I'm staying over there more. I'm talking deeper conversations. There's also additional support and resources and a slower, more intentional way to build what matters most, personally and professionally. I'll put the link in the show notes for you. So that's it, friends. The first episode back after about 6 months away. And I can't thank you enough for sharing this space with me. So until next time, stay grounded, stay intentional, and stay Fabo. And know that you are always welcome here. Till next time, friends.